How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining us on, what is it, episode 10, I think?
Is it 10?
This is episode 10.
It's like the double digits party. Did you have one of those?
I don't think
one
so.
so bad. I didn't have one. My cousin Kaylin, you're out there. You're already watching this.
I don't think
she
I
had a
one of
double
those
digits
little
party, like when she turned 10, and I thought it was so cool. It was like, oh, we
I
double
don't
digits.
recall.
now.
I might have. I don't know.
It's the one time you ever go into double digits. Next one's triple digits. Not many people hit that. This is a big accomplishment for a 10-year-old.
Anyways, episode 10. I'm Dom.
I'm Saige.
And this is the Ethereal Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about self-expression. Expressing yourself in an array of different ways.
I mean, yeah, anything you do is an expression of self in this reality.
Right. So I guess, the main ones we can talk about are going to be like expressing yourself with like clothing and your hair and makeup and the way you dress and present yourself.
What ass posture?
Like the weak ass posture. It's a jiu-jitsu shirt, guys. Don't judge me.
When I first walked in, I just saw the WAP. I was like, that's an interesting shirt. I didn't read it, and I was just like, okay.
You just thought I was wearing a WAP shirt.
I was like, yeah, 5 pairs.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I love that. Okay, so there's that type of expression. You can also express yourself through gender identity, stuff like that, and then through creativity, art, music. There's just so many ways to express yourself and
get the smallest things of your nail polish, your hair color.
Right.
It's literally even just the type of glasses we choose.
Yeah.
Right? First off, imagine if we had each other's glasses. That wouldn't be it for me. That would not look good on me.
You rocking the Versace. Let's swap. Let's show them what it would look like.
Blind selves.
What the heck?
Oh my god.
I mean, a whole different type of lesbian. That gives me very different vibes.
I can't even see myself. You look
like you're in an action movie.
like Kick-Ass.
Oh my god, if y'all are listening to this and you're not watching it on YouTube, go to YouTube. You missed it out.
Just for that clip alone.
Oh god. Okay. We'll make it into a TikTok.
Oh my god, I can fucking see.
Yeah, you're blind. But just a whole different kind of blind.
I was like, you're a different kind of blind. I was like, whoa.
Some people's glasses hurt when I put them on. I'm
my eyes are still watering.
But yours didn't. Yours didn't hurt as much as
yours didn't hurt. It looked like yours was just. Our colors are very different in your glasses.
Very, very different. Up with
that?
I don't know. I went with this they're green and black. They're Versace.
These are Walmart.
See, self-expression, I went for the Versace, but really I only went for the Versace because I had a friend that his dad owned lens store, and he was like, hey, you can buy whatever frames you want at cost that it cost us. So they were I don't know, they were $500 glasses, but I didn't pay that. So that's cool.
I don't remember how much I paid for these glasses, not much. I basically went into Walmart and I was like, I was looking for the thinnest frame, biggest glasses, and this is unfortunately the biggest they had.
They look good though.
I mean, fair.
I think they're very fitting.
I just feel like there's something.
I feel like I need to change up.
There's something funny about big glasses to me. So now I'm just like, these are really cute. They are big. When I first got them, I was like, wow, these are pretty big. They're small to me now. I want big old
Jeffrey Dahmer,
No.
He did. He wore those glasses.
Yes, unfortunately, it's kind of 70s like killer dude.
I'm sorry.
But
I've had these
they're pretty
glasses
cool.
since 2017. It's
Yeah, I was
really
about to say,
time for
I
an
feel like
upgrade.
I've seen that face for a while.
I have this weird thing with change for certain things that I just like
Fair.
don't think about. So, but I definitely need a new pair because they're getting messed up. But anyways,
I had to get a new pair because I broke my old pair. Also, I was getting more blind. So, like, they just stopped working as well. I was like, I'm having to squint. Maybe that's like I need new glasses.
Yeah. I did like a couple years ago. I went and got a new prescription and got like new lenses and stuff. So the same frames. And I actually lost these in the ocean and bought the same exact pair. So like I've had the same type of glasses since 2017,
Yeah, I was like,
but they're not the exact same
I've
pair.
seen that frame on your face like
too many years.
I just like in the most you're like I don't know if I were gonna guess like I can't even imagine that lens shape not on you though because I'm like I've only ever seen you with that lens shape. So I'm just like your glasses really change how you look.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like oh Lord, I don't know what
I'm gonna have to choose my next ones wisely. But so anyway, self-expression, clothing.
Clothing's a big one.
So I guess we can go off our conversation we were having earlier about being forced to wear skirts and dresses
for like
as young children.
You said
young
you were forced
girls.
like all the time. Well, you went to like a Catholic school.
I wasn't allowed to wear like jeans or stuff to church, and I didn't have like dress pants, obviously, because women didn't really.
Yeah, I was like a
them.
teenager before I started fighting back and wearing dress pants, like because they were like, "Well, the things you wear, they're not presentable." So I went out and got a pair of dress pants, and I was just like, "What now? I'm wearing the same pants he is. Why is it not presentable?" So I started trying to like fight back against it, but there was still like different events. Like I remember, like Brittany's like when Britney was in like that state pageant.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like my mom like telling me that like I needed to wear like a dress for like the main like the big day or whatever, and I was just like in my head I was just like, well.
For what reason?
But it made me hate them, as we were talking about earlier, is that it made us hate them. And now in our like mid to late 20s, we're like, oh, actually, I don't hate skirts and dresses. I love skirts on me. Holy shit!
I just want to say that
looks so good.
Yes,
like
thank you. I have not worn a skirt because I was forced to wear skirts to church every Sunday, up until about like probably 15, and then. At that point, I realized I could get away with leggings and one of those like really long like
dress
shirts, shirt dresses. So that was at least a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah,
but, with some boots, so it was like not, but it was still so annoying. But I have been having the urge lately to just go get like a cute skirt and put on my docs and a crop top, and I would look fine as hell.
Listen. I went to Goodwill.
And I don't think I would have ever thought this.
And I got
in the past
2 or 3 skirts. They're like $2-3 each.
Mm-hmm.
I love every single one of them on me. Obviously, I wore one to Buku.
Mm-hmm.
I wore both to Buku.
That was super cute.
Both of those skirts I got from Goodwill.
And then you made your tops. Yeah. Talk about creativity and self-expression, like combining the two.
Yeah, well, I was like,
that's awesome.
I did exactly what I planned.
They looked really good too.
In my head, which was I did exactly what I planned in my head based off of how I knew I could make a shirt work.
Right.
Back in 2020 when I discovered a shirt that I loved, like how to design it to where I could just tie it. So I just cut how I want it and then I can just like tie it up and I'm like, oh, that's exactly the style I like. I got how this works. However, it didn't come out exactly how I wanted in my head because I had a mental breakdown. Because like it's really dumb. I'll say the word dumb because I was dumb. It is very dumb to assume that if you don't know how to create a shirt, that you can create it by yourself the night before with no knowledge. And the only person you knew that had knowledge was in Florida. Because I forgot to ask. I just assumed she'd be home.
Oh, not the pad. Y'all, every single one of the sound pads that we put up last week fell off the wall. So we went through and we hot glued
Oh,
the foam pads
every single
to
one.
the sticky things on the wall because the sticky things stayed on the wall. The foam pads fell off. So,
The foam don't stick to the
but
sticky.
I guess we just didn't glue that one well enough because the glue gun was unplugged. So
it was probably like
cooling
not
down.
as that one had to be with the quickness.
Yeah, but yeah, anyways. So I love how there's this new wave of men being comfortable, just people, mask people in skirts and dresses. It makes me very happy.
It is great. Well, masculine people identify with on the male side of the spectrum, being like wearing like feminine clothing, but it is kind of funny if you really think about it because it's only feminine to like nowadays. There was times in history where skirts and dresses
Tights
were masculine.
And dresses, yep.
And I'm just like, men wore that, women weren't allowed to wear those, and we switched it and we're like, men cannot wear skirts. I'm like, baby, they wore dresses. They wore dresses before we had pants. What do you think they wore?
What are we doing? People are so ignorant. I just don't understand.
Very like, I feel like it's very like, just people can be very closed-minded, and not in the obvious way. They're closed-minded in a way of they forget that reality exists outside of their own reality. So they forget that there's a lot of things that happen before them, during them, after them,
right?
And everything's happening differently for everyone at one time. And so it's like
people get so caught in their own perspectives, and that's what I've been trying to do lately is like pull myself out of my own perspective constantly and just because I just feel like I've been so set in one way for my entire life, and now I'm like, wow, there are so many other perspectives. Let me just open myself up a little bit and just hear all of them out and check them all out. But it was really funny the first time that my mom saw my undercut. She was like, that's not very feminine. And I was like, well, gender is fluid.
You should have been like, I'm not very feminine.
I was like, me? You're going to say that to me of all people, first off. Like, no. Anyways, but...
First off, you didn't even dress there. You dressed, like, what does she mean? Like, that was the most masculine thing about you.
I have literally no idea. She just loves to talk. But I was like, gender is fluid. She's like, no, it's not. I was like, yes, it is. She's like, do not start this with me today. I was like,
when people say that it's not fluid, I'm like, I feel like people that say that just aren't properly educated because what? Gender is an expression. It is not biological, first off. So if you want to talk about gender, it's gender expression for a reason. It's how you express your gender. Your biological sex is different than your gender. However, there's not only male and female in biological sex. So even that's ignorant.
The intersex and all that.
Yeah, like it's a spectrum even in there. Like you have a spectrum in the biological sense. You have a spectrum in the expression sense. But people act like it's binary. I'm like, yo, that doesn't exist. Why are we creating a binary code? It doesn't. We don't have to live in a binary code.
And once I truly understood that, that's when I was like, all right. Yeah, I vibe with non-binary because I've never like wanted to be just fully mask presenting. I like to put on makeup and a bodysuit and go twerk at a rave and shake my ass like. But I don't like to do that all the time. It's only when I'm in a certain mood. But like, I don't know. I've never been only one way. I've always been like a mix. So I'm just like, well, yeah, that definitely fits. I guess my agenda and my life.
Yeah, it's really like I had a really weird come up when it comes to gender and gender expression for me because middle school is the first time I started questioning gender. In middle school,
really? That's early.
It's been something I've done with my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was in middle school, I started getting confused. Really hard. I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't feel like a girl, but I don't feel like a boy. But I thought that was the only two options. So I was really confused for a while, and I was trying to figure that out. And then I remember the first term was 8th grade. I started terming myself a demigirl. And so it was the first time I ever heard that phrase. I still didn't know many terms gender-wise.
Right.
I didn't hear about and understand. Like, I didn't truly hear about non-binary until some point in high school, because I remember in high school the first time I heard about
way sooner than me.
I
See,
also
this is
was
what
like
Catholic
looking into
schools
stuff. I
does
looked into
to
stuff
you.
a lot. Like,
all right, that's fair.
Yeah, I was making a lot of characters, so like I feel like because of that, I was introduced to a lot of different people. And with role play, you're playing. There's a lot of different genders, so like it's really rare that someone will play only females or only males. A lot of times they play a fluctuation, or females will only play males, males only. Like, it kind of fluctuates.
Right.
So I've met a lot of different people. And I started seeing people say non-binary for their character, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? So I'm like looking into it, and I just remember like when I found out about it, I remember sitting there and I was like, it was like that moment, you know, when you're like, I finally have a term for something that I've been trying to figure out since I was in 6th grade.
That's
and
amazing.
It was like crazy.
That,
so I was just like, it's such a, it was a very mind-blowing like moment, because I was just like, oh, because my whole thing was like, I didn't really like the term demi girl. And I didn't really like, I knew I wasn't a cis girl, but I didn't think I was totally like a dude. I did for a while. I had probably about like a year or so where like I was really like struggling in my head, where I was like, I think I'm a trans dude. And it was like a solid like year of me being like, I don't understand what's going on. And it was really like trippy. And like in hindsight, I feel like it was very obvious that I was struggling with gender very young. People just didn't, you know, when I was younger, it was, when she started growing boobs, I don't know, she started hiding her body. I was confused because I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to look like this. I had a lot of confusion with how I was looking, because I was like, okay, I look very womanly, so I'm going to have to be a woman. And then I thought I couldn't be in the middle or anywhere, because I was like, well, I can never
because
pass
you have
as
those
a
body
guy.
parts.
Yeah, I was like, I can never pass as a man because of this. And it was something that like really like stuck me for a while. So it was a whole like journey to eventually being like, yeah, it's really a fluctuation. Like sometimes I feel like a dude, sometimes I feel like a girl, sometimes I feel like neither, sometimes I feel like kind of both. It's just kind of like like it's such a weird,
right? Because yeah, I feel that, and I didn't hone in on it that much, because one, I mean, I don't know, I didn't understand it. I just honestly felt so much confusion as a child. I still do. That's been coming out recently. I'm just like, my inner child is just so confused, because I just never understood how I felt, why I felt it, what I felt, what the hell was going on. And so like I never fit with like the identification of a girl, and I always as a child like wore boy clothing as a very young child, and then like I started getting picked on for that, so I shifted a little bit and tried to fit the societal norms.
I switched to like a hyper femme look.
So annoying, and like, but I always knew that I felt uncomfortable in that clothing. Like I just did not like expressing myself that way, especially because it was forced on me. I think maybe if I went to the store and saw a dress that I liked and picked it out and wanted to wear it, it would have been different. But it was always like, you have to wear this. Here's what it is. Like here's what you have to pick from. Here's what's acceptable. And I got to pick, you know, the type and the color, maybe, but like, but even then, Christmas dress had to be red. Yeah, it was like red or green. It was like, God, it's so horrible. Anyways, but like, it's just so wild. It's so wild to me. But I was always very uncomfortable with that. So when I, you know, started seeing non-binary everywhere, I was like, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? I don't know what that is, man. But I started educating myself on it, and I just was like, wow, I vibe with this so much. I connect with this. This feels so fitting. Like I don't know, I just feel like I finally belong in a category. Yeah, it's like I should feel like this. Even though that's so weird to say, but that's humans' natural instincts is to want to belong.
I remember when I first started going by non-binary, and I remember the first thing that wrapped my head, and still to this day, this is an actual concern of mine, and but it actually is more of a frustration now. It's frustrating to me that people don't think of this, because you should. Because my whole thing, like whenever I started coming out as non-binary, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird though. Like, if they're straight, are they still into me? I'm not female. And when people are like, oh, I'm like, whoa, it fucking should. You just invalidated my fucking gender right then and there. Like, what do you mean? You're like, no, I only like women. So you don't like me then? I'm not a woman. And they're like, well, I'm like, no. You gotta you're like women, like
they're like, oh,
women.
but you're a woman.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't think you understand the concept you just said. They don't correlate. They don't mesh in very well.
It's because they don't actually. They're like they're okay with the surface level, but they don't
view it as a gender. Is a thing. A lot of people view gender expression. They're like, gender expression doesn't matter.
For me, it's almost genderless. It's just like,
yeah. I just feel like I'm existing. I can tell that
I flip flop. I like to do one or the other sometimes.
Well, yeah. What I like to say is like, recently I've kind of like noted with my like DID. Obviously, when I'm very cohesive and everything's really put together, very much Saige, which is like a genderless being.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like fluctuates along the spectrum and does, it's who I am. However, when I have like where it's a very distinctive like trigger out of my feminine side or a masculine side, which is mostly how it is. Like there are other alters, but at this point, there's like one alter that I work with a lot because I'm trying to heal a lot of her things. The other two, like the alters that I deal with a lot outside of that, though, are typically just like one more feminine side and one more masculine side, and they kind of cooperate together.
Mm-hmm.
So when one of them is like present, it is definitely weird at times because even still now, like it'll get kind of trippy in my head with gender expression. I really realized like more recently that there was things that like, even though I as a person, I'm like, I love androgyny. I love like these different things. It looks great. I'll like catch that like in certain headspaces, if I look at myself and I look more masculine or I look more feminine, I'm just like, it freaks me the hell out. And I'm just like, whoa.
Is that when one alter is more present?
That's what I've realized. Like it's because like when something like that triggered me, I'm like, oh well, I know who's out.
So that's where it would help to know you have DID instead of just like freaking out.
Exactly. I'm like meanwhile, as a kid, I was just like, what is going on? Like I'm like, because I remember I wanted to get like laser hair removal for like the hair that I get right here from the PCOS, and I remember being like, wait, I don't want to do that though, because like what if one day like I do want it? I don't know. Like that's when I was like, what the fuck? Because then like 2 months later, I was on Twitter, like that has its own there, and I was like, what? No. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like in hindsight now, in my 20s, I'm like,
I was like, oh, Oliver was like, yo, homie.
Yeah, Oliver was like, yo,
don't take that away from me.
Listen to me a little bit. So some things I want to give and take. We already got some things we can't give and take with. Like, I was just like, I don't understand. Like,
and I can't imagine how many people out there that have DID and don't realize it and probably feel that way and experience that.
That's the weirdest thing about DID is that I think that it's crazy that a lot of people, like, I don't know the percentage, so I'm not going to lie on the percentage, but there's like a large majority of people that are adults when they get diagnosed. And that's like really crazy to imagine that you go through your entire tutorial mode of life without knowing what you're even operating. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to be, all right, I'm an adult now, and I'm supposed to like go do this, but it's like,
you want me to pick a career and do all this?
I'm gonna pick a career. We even pick what the fuck we want for lunch. We all want different things.
We can't agree on one thing. Yeah,
like, we all want different things. What you want?
Like, good lord.
That was my thing with careers. You're like, you're gonna do this for life. I was like, for life? For life? I gotta stay interested for life?
I can't imagine.
It's not me.
Trying to like, no. Because a career just, I don't know. That's something I just don't really believe in, I guess, anymore. Picking a career. Well, that and just like career in general. Like, I can't imagine doing one thing for the rest of my life.
I don't think we're supposed to.
I change doing things like every couple of years.
I change hobbies every few months.
But like, not even just hobbies, like forms of income. Like, I don't know.
I will never
done so many different things.
Ever go back to a one stream income in my entire life. I never thought that would be scary until, that one income got fucked, and then I had nothing, and I was like, I will never rely on one stream ever again. That was awful.
one form of income is definitely not the way to go.
Scary. It can be very scary in this society.
Yeah. That's
pay to play.
Pay to play.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I saw a great TikTok the other day, and it really broke down. It was like breaking down how like we are actually truly playing a game of Monopoly. like in real life. And it's just like, so this paper money that doesn't have any actual real value, and
the value's not even backed anymore. We've been backing it by gold. We ran out of we don't have backing, we don't have the gold to back our funds anymore. Like the Earth is in debt. To who? They say we don't know aliens, so who the fuck are we in debt to? How is the entire planet in debt?
To what?
Thank you. Earth itself is in debt, but we don't have any connection to aliens, so how are we in debt to anything? My brain can't make sense of it. Every fucking country is in debt. The whole Earth is in debt. How is the Earth in debt to somebody? What they in debt to? The fucking moon? Like, I don't get it.
None of it exists. None of it is real. I don't know, man.
It kills me. It really does.
It's really funny to think of, but I don't know. So, like, I just, like, we're not in debt. There's an unlimited amount of money. You just believe that. Manifest that.
Money is made. We can make it tomorrow.
Not like literally, but you know.
It's illegal to make your own money. Don't do that.
Be like the show Good Girls. Such a good show.
I keep thinking about watching that, but I haven't started it.
Love it.
It's on my list.
Love it.
I have so many things on my list.
I only have a couple episodes left.
Have you started any of the shows I told you?
Here's my problem. When I sit down to watch TV, I'm so like mentally done with the day that I'm like, what do I want to watch? I can't remember anything that anybody has told me. I need to write it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you're telling me that you never thought to go phone, notes, and type all your options?
No. Okay. I don't know if it's just like my brain, me, but making lists for me and stuff like that is very difficult.
Rewarding for me. It's
no.
Like it scratches the right little itch.
It is so hard to force myself to sit there and make a list of something. Because like when I try and sit there, it goes blank. And then like I don't remember to add to it slowly over time like Brittany does. I
literally made a list of shows and I put them all in here and saved them. So I was like, these are all shows that I have watched and liked.
I watched so many of those. Okay, well, I need you to do that for me because I don't even remember right now what shows you told me to watch.
There's so many.
Midnight Gospel. I remember that one.
Oh my god, I can't even watch that one for real.
I've seen a good bit of it. I just haven't finished it, but
it only gets better because it gets deeper as it goes. Because I think they didn't want to scare off people in the beginning, you know? So they just get deeper each episode and then like these gets like intense.
Probably what we'll end up doing. Like once we end up running out of the basic ideas.
I feel like what's going to end up happening, we'll quote this here, is that my assumption is we're end up getting to a point where like we have these like 1 week is like really like serious topic, and then the next week is like something really stupid.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that
because it breaks it up.
Yeah.
Or we could do. I mean, once actually, this is what would be the most beneficial probably. But this would require a future of having other people in here.
Oh, so it's not definitely going to happen.
Because then they could keep us on time and we can have segments. So we can be stupid and serious in every episode. That's what I want, ideally. Because that'd be like fun to have them. We can have a serious conversation, but then we can break it up so it's not just
right.
That.
But I feel like we kind of do that a little naturally.
Yeah, we're naturally funny bitches. So.
Sorry, so what other forms of expression are there?
Art. We'll touch on that briefly. There's so many types of art.
Activity.
I love.
Okay, let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all respond in the comments? How many of y'all, because this happened to me, were super creative and artsy when you were younger, and then at a certain age, it just kind of like boop, cut off, like it just was blocked, and you're like. For me personally, like after a few years of it just being blocked, I had to like realize that my sacral chakra was just like all of that creativity was just like done. I had over time things, comments that people made about, the way I expressed myself, the way I did certain things. And so like eventually that creativity just stopped to where I didn't even want to draw or paint anymore. And that was literally one of my favorite outlets. I'm so talented when it comes to like realistic sketches and like I can draw. If you sat there for a few hours, I could draw you and make it look very realistic.
That's my dream. I'm not that artist, and I've accepted that now. But
I love it, but
I always wanted to be able to draw people. I want people to see them how I see them.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, one of my ex-girlfriends, actually, I drew a portrait of her for like her birthday or something. She broke up with me before I gave it to her, so I still have it.
Oh, you should have
Awkward. It's too good. Like, it's literally, I spent too many hours on it to burn that.
Okay, so what if you...
it doesn't bother me.
No.
It's tucked away with my art center.
I was going to say, I would like literally just get like... But you know, I'm kind of like abstract my shit. I would just get like black or red paint on my fingers, and I would just like mark your eyes, make it artistic.
I love that. But yeah, so my creativity just like stopped for a while, but recently, like I've been doing so much work, so much healing over the last couple of years, and over the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, I've just had so much creative juices flowing out of me, like just been wanting to create things and so many ideas. And I said that for a couple of years. When it stopped, I was like, I don't know, I just don't have ideas. I don't think of things like other people do. And I kept telling myself that, which obviously reinforced that. So that wasn't good. But yeah, I healed and opened that up, and I'm like, it's going again, and we're getting creative.
My creativity,
making a crystal mirror.
I've seen those books.
The crystal should be in like tomorrow. I have the mirror in there.
That'd be nice. See, my thing was, when I was younger, my creativity was limited to creative writing, which is still a cool creative outlet. However, when I tell you my creativity did not exist far outside of that, never tried to. The only thing I ever drew as a kid, right here, the girl with the bangs, her eye, her eyebrow, and the side of her nose. I only ever drew that as a kid. Didn't draw nothing else. Was never that good at drawing that either. I would just draw it on vacations, like in the car and shit. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I had a face with it. I really did. All my stuff was like that, and then that was the only thing I ever drew. I never painted, never did anything, so I just assumed I'd be bad at it. That was a big problem I had just in general, though. Like, wouldn't start shit. So, like, if I'm not...
Self-confidence.
I think that's deeply ingrained from my father.
Oh,
because he has to be, like, the best at everything. And, like, everyone wants to be good at stuff. But, like, I don't have the drive to be the best at everything. My unhealed self doesn't. My unhealed self
Why would I? I feel like that's... What is the point of that?
Wants to be the best at everything because it feels so low that it wants to feel validated by outside influences. My ability, my talent does not have to say anything about like who I am. So like, I don't need to be the best. I just want to be good. I just want
to do things I enjoy.
Yeah. So like, it was a big change.
I don't need to be the best at jiu-jitsu, but I want to get my black belt one day, and I want to open my own academy and teach other people. But like, I know the realisticness, or not even the realisticness, but like chances of that are very slim, and I don't actually want to put in the time and effort to get to that point, because if you're going to be a professional athlete in jiu-jitsu, professional jiu-jitsu player, you're basically living it. You're 6 to 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week on the mats, learning, practicing, watching videos, everything jiu-jitsu. And personally, that's not, I feel like maybe in a past life I already did that, and now for me it's just like a hobby, it's a love, like, and it's also like it's a way of life. It's really helped my mentality. Joe Rogan preaches that. My ring cut my finger earlier. Caspius jumped up and hit it, and it cut me.
I used to wear a bunch of rings. I want to get back into wearing a bunch of rings.
More self-expression. Yeah. I used to wear a bunch of rings too, but they were like my high school powerlifting state championship rings, and they were these big, bulky, and I would wear like all 3 of them by senior year. It was ridiculous, but
you're one of those.
But I liked them. I liked the accessory, and now
I didn't get into rings, so I was a nurse in nursing school.
When you had to wear gloves.
Yeah, I got really into rings, and I used to have like 2 to 3 rings on both hands.
Yeah. Brittany loves to wear them now. She's usually got 3 to 4.
Yeah, like
on
I
each
love
hand.
them. I want to get back in. I just don't have them. I don't have rings.
I think they're hot. Rings are
Rings
hot.
are great. I always love rings with people. Harry Styles wears
I like
rings.
hands though. That's
Me
like
too.
an attractive feature
I told
to
somebody
me.
before, I said something, and I was like, it's technically, I guess, considered, like, well, technically it's not considered, hold up.
Gotta reset there.
There's an argument about definition. So, okay, so, all right. What fetish and kink are complicated because the correct terminology is often incorrectly used. And so I'm fighting with myself because I can't remember the correct terminology in this statement. I'm pretty sure a fetish is something you have to have in a sexual setting that's more like obscure, and the kink is something that it's just something you do enjoy. So like the fetish is like you need to have that.
Okay.
So like
informative.
that's why I was
Didn't know
explaining someone that like I have like a hand fetish because like I like choking and like what's it like you just start like talking. But anyways, so here's like important. So it's considered. I'm pretty sure that's the correct term. So fetish is when you need to have it in the setting,
right?
Whereas like a kink is just you just also enjoy it.
Wow. So that's more ways of expressing yourself.
It is because you know how many people incorrectly use fetish and kink.
That's you're expressing traumas.
You also expressing your traumas
healthily, though.
Yeah.
Most
BDSM
of it
is a very. One day we'll have to have an episode about BDSM specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is a very fascinating psychology. I've been learning about it and fascinated with it since I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. When I was in 7th grade, I was like, I'm going to be a sex therapist. So I began research very early. Not even like no, I literally did not start having sex. I literally just started researching. I researched other sex therapists, a bunch of stuff about like the psyche and how like sex is like represented in the psyche. Mm-hmm. And it's just really interesting. It's really fascinating.
It is definitely
it is expression.
It is 100%.
It's the way a lot of people are. It's one of the ways that in this reality, a lot of people do not like to accept and express their shadow self. And BDSM allows people to express their shadow self in a healthy way.
And it's crazy to see when you have like healed a certain trauma,
stopped,
and then you stop. You're like, oh, I'm not really into that anymore. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. God, sometimes it's.
I'm like, oh, been there, done that. Yeah.
Because you're like, I really liked that.
You're like, I was really into that, but like, that's
now it's not doing that.
Now it's like kind of almost triggering.
You know, now it's like, yeah, it's actually not doing what it used to do. It's interesting.
You're like, wow, okay.
Like, huh? It used to be like really great. Now I'm just like, yeah.
That's funny, but yeah, no, that's very, very true.
That's wild. I'm trying to force myself to remember the topic. Self-expression.
Oh, yeah. Back to that. Hair color.
Hair color is really fascinating because, like, I read somewhere someone was talking, probably on TikTok or something or Instagram post or something, but they were saying that colorful hair is like similar to like, like poisonous things in like the wild, where you're like, don't touch me because I will bite back. And you're like, you're warning people, like, I'm not going to walk all over me. I'm going to step back to you.
Right.
I've already, if I'm this comfortable being this bright in your face in public, I'm probably going to be that willing to be bright in your face in private as well. So it's like that theory of like people are like making themselves have a poison. It's like warning to people without realizing. It's so funny.
One of my favorite snakes to this day is a rhinoceros viper, and it is so colorful. Like, it's known for having just like the lightest color blue, like this light color, and reds, yellows, just so many pretty. Different colors on it, and it's got like these little like horns up the top of it. They're scales, but yeah, they're super venomous too, though. But they're yeah, dude, if you come here, yeah.
It's like everything in the wild is like, yo, unless I give you permission to
poison dart frogs.
Yeah, or like those little bitty octopuses that are like
yellow and blue.
Yes, they're gold and blue. But it's like if you touch them and they didn't want you to touch them. And I'm like,
that girl, the TikTok of her just picking it up. It's like, girl, you just held death in your hands, and it chose not you. Yeah. It was like, nah.
It's like, it chose that it didn't think you were being like threatening, which you weren't, but like the fact that it was like
because you didn't know. If you had known your nerves, it would have sensed it.
It would have sensed your nervousness. I think the because you just was so like gentle, like you had no fucking clue. Right. Like, it's so cute.
But that's crazy. I love that your hair color is like
it made me laugh. I thought it was
warning. That's very accurate.
So and like before I had bright hair, I would not have. I wasn't very like.
I never dyed my hair until I
started being like, I'll plug that.
20, yeah. Until I was 24.
I started dyeing my hair like colorful when I left the church.
Well, see, I had never even dyed my hair. I had gotten highlights, I think, 2 times, maybe 3. My mom wouldn't let me.
My mom didn't want to. My dad fought her about it. Raw, she had a good one.
Good job.
He was like, it doesn't hurt her. Let her express herself.
Good job.
Yeah, good on him.
Good on him. My mom did not allow that.
My mom was very against it, but I remember I got those like.
Her reasoning though was because she dyed her hair for so many years and her hair was all damaged and fried. And I was like, girl, you could have helped me manage it. Maybe use some semi-permanent ones. But so the first time that I actually dyed my hair, I went from my virgin hair to blue.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
I was like, go home, go all. What is it?
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
Go all or go big.
Why could I not think of? God damn it.
My first ever hair adjustment was I was 8 years old and I begged for skunk streaks because they were in, and my dad gave them to me. I thought I looked so cool, and that opened the ball game.
Oh, wow.
I did streaks. I did highlights. I did like an ombre effect. That was before that shit was a thing, though. Like I just did it. Like
I did it first.
Ends. Like it was a thing. Like people doing their ends was a thing well before the biolage shit. Like that's just been around. It just wasn't known as much. So I had that, and then I started venturing into color, but I wasn't allowed to go too crazy. So I mean, like
because of high school.
Yeah, school. So like I went blonde for a little bit, light brown, dark brown, black. I had brown with red underneath. That was the only
purple.
Color. Yeah, dark purple. It was like purple was fucking the light, but in like the normal like outside, but normal lighting, it was like black. So like I had stuff like that, and then I graduated high school.
I did have piercings in high school though. I had hidden piercings though. I've had my septum pierced since I was 16. My friend did it on my other friend's couch, and it's very crooked. You can't really tell though.
I remember you saying like it's not great. I was like, it looks fine.
Yeah, I pierced my own, whatever that's called, under your tongue. I've had my smiley pierced several times, and actually under my tongue is still pierced. I can at any point just put jewelry in there. I almost
considered like piercing my own smiley because I was mad.
And I used to pierce people's like lips and septums, and because I did eventually buy clamps. Thank God. And I had like the official needles and stuff too. I wasn't using like jank ass stuff.
Used to do piercings for people in high school too.
Yeah, that was one of the things we connected over.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, so I always had the piercings. Oh, and I did try to gauge my ears, but then my mom saw them one day when we were driving home from school, and she legit pulled them out of my ears and threw them out the window on the interstate. I was like, damn, those were expensive. She was like, fuck, I don't care. And I was only up to a size like 4.
Oh my God. So you weren't even.
It wasn't even big, but she was like, what the hell is that? And I had like tiny little plugs in. I was like, I wasn't going to go big. Like, I just wanted to, like, you can put cool.
You do a baby gauge.
Like, it's not that if I wanted, but really, I mean, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to say if I was doing it for like the self-expression or like the pain part of it. But because it was like kind of some form of self-harm in a way when I was doing it as a teenager. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, this hurts so bad, but like I don't know, it helped me like get over emotional shit I was going through. I don't know, it was weird, but
that's fair.
It's the same as the other forms of self-harm. So like,
yeah, there's always 1,000 ways.
But I'm not saying that people gauging their ears is self-harm.
It's just person-to-person basis.
Yeah, when I was doing it personally at the age of 14 and 15, it was a form of self-harm for me. But
I tried doing it in 2020. And
hell no, I could not do that today.
Oh, I was doing it.
It hurts.
Yeah. I got to a...
Props to the people that have like... Because that shit hurt. Oh, yeah.
But one of his if he ever gets around to watching this, he'll hear but I was asking about one of his that he has like the bigger one, I think, and I was asking about it. I was like, "How long did it take you to get there?" Ask me why this man said he did a hole punch. He didn't stretch it. He literally punched. He's like, "Yeah, it was the most painful thing ever." I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He's like, "I didn't want to take the time to like get to where I want."
Did he have it done professionally, or he just took a hole puncher?
No,
okay,
he got it done professionally, but like he's like, no, it hurt really bad. He was literally just like they literally just like hole punched a chunk of your ear out. Like
that's terrible. That's so much trauma on your ear.
Yeah, I was like, fuck no.
I saw a video of a guy getting pierced with like a size 4 needle, and that was massive. I was like, what the?
My thing is, I wanted the gauges in my ears because I wanted like double, like baby gauges. I mean, I wanted like, I don't know, like a 0. Maybe 0 or whatever. My goal was to eventually get to a 0.
I wanted like double zeros. I didn't want
like 0, double 0, like something like that. And I wanted sometimes to have like a crystal plug because they have those.
They're pretty.
I also wanted to have like the like tunnel and then have like normal like
honestly,
like
I would totally fuck with some gauges nowadays.
Yeah, I would look so good, but I don't want to go through the pain.
Well, I would be willing to go through the pain. However, I do jujitsu, and getting another facial piercing for me is literally out of the question because
it'll take you out for a while.
And there's no way in hell I'll stop training for a few months. No way. You couldn't pay me.
I am trying to get more piercings and tattoos this year.
I'm getting that new tattoos. I got that. So
I have a tattoo that I'm gonna get inside of my thigh.
That's another great way to express yourself. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, there's this girl on TikTok. This woman. She's not a girl, she's grown. But
she is a woman.
Woman. She talks about like the spiritual meaning to like your locations of different tattoos. And it was really interesting because I watched it. I found the one for like your left forearm. So that was my first big tattoo, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was like when you get like one right here, like it's you represent like you're tired of being quiet. You're gonna like you're showing yourself like this is where everyone's gonna see you. And I was like, oh, my first tattoo of me being like, this is who I am. I was like, oh,
I love that.
So fascinating. So I was watching a bunch of different ones from her because it's really interesting to like hear like what different things. And I'm like, wow, they really add up. And like, because I'm getting the next one I know I'm getting is on my thigh.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember exactly what that meant, but I remember looking at it, I was like, yup, that makes sense.
Seems about really right.
I can't wait. Like I just do what he says he's gonna do. I just gotta get some money.
Hell yeah.
I want to get both my nostrils pierced because I want to get the little chain.
Do you remember any of the other placements?
Like what they mean?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just like I just remember that one. I'm curious. I'd be curious to know about like the leg, the inside of the ankle, something like that.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. So I remember I like went into like a spiral. So that's why I don't remember them because I watched them all like back to back.
That's fair.
So I only remember the first one, which was the forearm. And I remember because I was like, forearm, I have a forearm. And I was like thinking, I was like, wow, that's so crazy.
Right.
And so I remember watching
I have like I'm curious because the one that I have over the top of my ankle, like I used to have to like really hide self-harming, and for some reason I chose to do it like below my sock line on my ankles, on the inside of my ankles, and like on the tops of my arms. So this tattoo covers that up though. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple scars down there, and like I got my Millennium Phoenix tattoo down there, and like the Phoenix rising from the ashes. So I kind of chose that as like we were here, but now we're here, and it's this big beautiful Phoenix kind of over it, and that's what his whole symbol is for, anyways. So
I love like the like scar cover up tattoos. They're always obviously because like the meaning behind it, they just like are so much like more, but it's also just like as an empath imagining that relief of like, especially like when you're someone who like it's where they're really visible, like there's a lot of people who are scarred really bad on like their forearms.
Mm-hmm.
So I love watching people get these forearm tattoos, and it's just like you don't see it anymore. And you see them, they just like cry because like the first time in 20 years they've ever seen their arm without the scars, without reminding them of that. And that's just like it's so like tattoos are so cool,
so beautiful.
It's literally just like,
and it's like they're going through that like self-harm one last time with the
and it's
like
that
shit hurts. And it's like and going over all that scar tissue,
and
that has to hurt. And it's like you're not inflicting it.
Yeah, it's like it's to show that it's over.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
It's such a
So
like,
that's a nice little way to express like your healing journey, the pain you've been through, and
There's a lot of
just
really
how you
cool.
come out of it. There's so many ways of expressing yourself, but don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't express yourself in a certain way, because that's just straight up bullshit. All of this is some made up rules and societal constructs, and you don't need to listen to anybody. If you like it and it's not hurting you or anybody else, go for it. Wear that dress, put on that eyeliner, get that tattoo, get that piercing. You're beautiful. Express yourself in the way that you want to, because
life is
way too short.
Customize your sim, babe.
Seriously, why do you want to like?
No one's ugly. They're just not customized. You know, everyone, when you start a game, the uncustomized.
It's like you hit avatar, random.
Yeah, you're
random generate a sim.
You want to keep with it. That random
generator. What the hell was that? I'm scared.
Monster high. Is the next episode we're doing going to be our 420 episode?
Yes. We'll see y'all on 420.
Yeah, for real, it'll be great.
Y'all just won't get to see the episode on 420.
Yeah.
But
y'all see us 420 though. And that's what matters.
Yup. Well, that's gonna be
good. That's gonna be a fun. We should talk about like all like weed stories and stuff.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be a good one. It would be funny as fuck. So next episode will be real funny as well.
Join us on episode 11, guys, for our Blaze It.
I thought about it because it's 420. So it was 420. Like
on the time. I got you.
420 Blaze It.
Love it. That's great. I guess that's a wrap.
I guess that's it. My brain's like,
I think that's all we got for today. Yeah, I think we're at about the hour mark, something like that. Yeah.
Self-expression, great. Do you do? Customize your sim. Because, like, why do you want to look like the person next to you? Why don't you want to look like yourself?
You want to be able to be picked out in a crowd, right?
You want to be able to, like, look in a crowd and be like, that's me. But how can you do that if you blend
like when they take the group family photos at the raves and you're like,
where the fuck am I at?
It's like, right there, baby.
Yeah,
you see your bucket hat or something. Yeah, you're like, that's me.
Because if you're really you authentically, you will always be able to see who you are, and people will do the same.
Yep.
People can tell when you're being genuinely you.
Yes. Love it.
People never saw me until I was me. When I didn't dress like me, people never recognized me in person. Like, I wouldn't get approached. Now people are like, hey, I saw you over there.
Yeah, no, I have the blue hair and everybody's like, hey, no.
I'm at a rave, my hair glowing.
Yep. Definitely.
Anyways.
But all right, guys, thank you for joining us on the Ethereal Podcast. Yes. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Love and light. Yes.
Love and light. See y'all next time.
Bye.